Hello there, Aquarius. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly in-depth tarot forecast. This is going to be looking at the month of December. We're actually starting though with November, what day? November 29th and running through January 2nd. That way we've got 5 week-long time frames that we're looking at, so we're tracking what the energy is doing as it progresses through. I have started something new this month where I am doing expanded readings just about for every week. Usually there's one portion of the reading that I'll pull out to take a deeper look at, a deeper peek at, and we'll dive more in depth on that. Expanded links will be listed in the description box below. I tried to price them pretty affordably so that basically everybody would have access to them if you want them. This is a general reading, Aquarians. This means that not everything here will apply to every single one of you. However, most of it will apply to most of you. The other thing it means when I say it's a general reading is that I don't really look for particular topics. I'm not necessarily looking for love or for career or for family, but I am looking at what are the main themes that are showing up. What is actually the main energies that are active during this time frame in your life. And so we're going to see about that. So it's not necessarily on any projected topic. It's going to be whatever Spirit feels the need to communicate with you about, basically. So let's see. The other thing that you guys need to know who are watching this video is that this is an Aquarius video. Why does this not feel right to me? That's why. Okay. This is an Aquarius video, which means it's about Aquarius. It's for Aquarius. On my channel, energies do not flip-flop. They are not reversible. If I'm saying that this is something that is going on with an Aquarius, that's what I mean. I don't mean that this is something that might be going on with you just because you happen to be watching an Aquarius video. No. Just because you happen to be interacting with an Aquarius. No. I gotta tell you, I know who I'm reading for. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. You may want to check your rising or your moon sign, but this video is for Aquarians, not for cross-watchers. Cross-watchers, you're welcome to be here if you want to find out about Aquarians, but if you want to find out about you, you should watch the video that I've made for your sign, or that somebody else has made for your sign. Either way, so we get the point, right? Energies are not reversible here. Okay, Aquarius, let's check out your environment for the time frame from November 9th through December the 5th. I think that your environment is someplace that you are very short-term. This is not a place that you plan to be long-term, and in fact, you may even be leaving this environment in the middle of the week. It looks like it looks like you may be a little bit up in the air about where you're going to end up as far as your environment when you leave this environment. So let me remind you, environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. Usually it's home, but I have had people tell me, oh, that's work or that's school. Sometimes it's actually just our aura. So you want to be really open-minded about what I could be talking about here. So this could be a work situation. This also could be a home situation. This could be something else. But definitely not committed to your environment for the long term. And I think actually leaving it during this time frame, possibly going somewhere else. But I just get, as I'm looking at this card that sort of talks about the idea of there's a duality of environment, it kind of comes to me really that you're not really sure exactly where you're going from where you are. That's interesting. All right, let's look at your subconscious leanings, Aquarius. What do we have here? There is something toxic or somebody toxic in your experience that you have been dealing with, and it looks to me like they've kind of run you down. Like you really don't have a hope left to where you feel like you could fix this toxicness. And it looks to me like you've been really trying to. I think you've really been putting out a lot of energy and effort to fix it, but the end result is that your energy is scattered and you're not getting a chance to actually do the things that you want to do because you're so busy trying to put out toxic fires. And so, and I didn't say toxifiers, I said toxic fires. So I think in your subconscious, you're turning this situation over in your mind, and I think you're working on, okay, what can I do to make this situation better for me? I feel like I don't have enough light here right now. Let's turn that up a little. That's better. That's maybe a little too much. Excuse me. We have a very overcast day today. It's not even dark, but it's dark outside. I should say the sun's not even down, but it's dark outside. All right. What are we looking at next? This is going to be learning style and communication style, Aquarius. So as far as learning, I do think that you're paying a lot of attention to money right now. Money may even be a factor in your learning process. So this could be that you're coming up with money to pay for a class, or maybe even to pay for some kind of testing having to do with studying or a class. And you may even be learning about money, how to make money, how to collect money type of thing. Okay, so there's a couple of ways that that's actually coming through. Some of you are actually learning about making money, collecting money. Others of you are getting together some money to pay for a class. Finances seem to feature quite strongly in at least that part of your learning style. Okay? La da da da. I do think that as you go through this time period, you are learning a lot about what it takes to be a leader in some kind of situation, whether this is a leader of a family, a leader in a work situation, a leader in some type of hobby or activity that you're involved in. But I think you are learning a lot about leadership. And I think that there was a lot that you had misconceptions on, or that you were confused on. A lot of that confusion is being cleared up as you go through this time frame. Other thing that I see you learning a lot about has to do with astrology. Astrology and the planets and what kind of effect they may have on people's lives, on your life in particular, I think. Now, looking at communication style, we saw you learning about money or gathering money. We also see you talking about money. And this looks to me like you're talking to somebody about, if I bring you so much money, will this buy me ... and will you throw in ... type of thing. So you may be doing some kind of car negotiating. You could be negotiating in a contract for real estate of some kind. But there's talk here about money, and I feel like there's going back and forth about money. There's this sense of negotiating, trying to get the most that you can for your money and not be, I feel like you're kind of walking a tightrope because you also don't want to be cheap, but you also want to get the most for your money. Okay? What else do we have showing up here? I think there's a lot of confusion in some of the communications that people are giving to you, and I think that you are working on clearing a way through that confusion, finding that path of truth through all this confusion that somebody is stirring up. So, I feel like these are people that are giving you misinformation, not necessarily even intentionally, but still misinformation. Some of them may be giving it to you intentionally, but I just don't feel like that's the majority. Anyway, I do feel like you're clearing up or coming through that confusion. You're finding out what the real deal is and figuring out what's the best way for you to get through this situation where the confusion is being basically stirred up, is what I want to say. Also in communication style, I do think that there are some things that you are doing to protect yourself energetically as you're communicating with people, and you're also trying to be very balanced in your communication. You're trying not to be the person that does all the talking. You're also trying not to be the person that does all the listening. You're trying to be really balanced in your communication, and you're also trying to not leave anybody out of a situation where communication is going on. I think you want to make sure that all parties involved are kept abreast of the latest discussions or plans going on there. Okay? La da 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 da. Next thing we're looking at has to do with work. What do we have? What do we have when we're looking at work? Okay, so. Okay. All right. Work probably is not the happiest place at this moment. It does look like there's been some kind of disappointment that has happened there, and it looks like you're letting that go. You're forgiving or letting it go, just letting it be water under the bridge. At the same time, I don't see you being very thrilled about some of the relationships with the people that you have at work, but I do feel like you're sort of sticking it out. You're hanging in there. Because I think you feel like you don't really have anywhere else to go right now. And so you're hanging in there until you can get some kind of backup plan in place. All right, so looking at inner work, because I do look at work two ways. First of all, making a living, but also inner work, things that we do to improve our own character, to make other people more happy with, or excuse me, to make us more happy with who we are. I'm the last person to believe in making other people more happy with who we are. Anyway, inner work, inner work, inner work, inner work. I do feel like you are definitely doing some meditation. There is some kind of situation that, besides work, where you feel like you're kind of trapped, and you're really working on how do I gracefully get out of this situation. And there is definitely something here about forgiveness as well, that, I feel like there's some kind of relationship that where I'm getting that you feel like you were betrayed or backstabbed, and part of your work is figuring out how to not only forgive this person for what they did to you, but also to forgive, and this is the bigger thing here that's coming up more strongly for most of you, but also to forgive yourself for letting this happen. This is the big thing that's coming up here, is you're learning to not be so hard on yourself that you let this situation happen to you. So forgiveness is a big deal right now as far as inner work, but I think it's still a big deal when you're forgiving somebody else, but I think the bigger deal for you right now is about forgiving yourself. All right, so that's work and inner work. Next, we're going to that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? So it looks to me like there was a situation where you kind of felt like you were left holding the bag or left picking up the pieces. You were left with all the responsibilities of cleaning up the mess, basically. And I think that because you were left with all those responsibilities of cleaning up the mess, you have made a major transition. And I think that a lot of this came in because there was a change of perspective when you realize that you're the one cleaning up this mess. Like, you weren't the only one that made the mess. Other people helped you with the mess. Other people may be the ones that made the mess completely for some of you. And I think that you had a complete change of perspective as you realized that you're the only one left around to clean up the mess. And that major perspective has to do with the idea of not communicating anymore with these people whose mess you had to clean up. I really feel like you're just shutting down communication with them. I think you're feeling like, the more that you communicate with them, the more messes you have to clean up, and it shouldn't be on you to clean up all of these people's other messes. So I think you're shutting down communication, or at least slowing it down as much as you possibly can. Okay? And I think, for right now, I think this is actually what I want to dive deeper into. I want to dive deeper into what kind of mess are we talking about that you're having to clean up, the big change, and, get an idea about who it is that you're shutting down communication with. We're going to dive into that in the expanded reading, unless I find something else that I think is more interesting between now and the end of this reading. Okay, let's look next at those things that you stand for, or that thing that you stand for during this time frame. There's something that somebody wanted to talk to you about. Maybe they even confronted you about this. And so you've sort of explained yourself or defended yourself around the situation, what that situation is, and then we're going to look at how that person is viewing you after you've had this conversation. So it looks to me like you have pretty good self-confidence and pretty good ideas about your own worthiness. And I don't mean that you're arrogant. I mean like you are in a very healthy place with this, not arrogant, not feeling unworthy, you know, in a good healthy place. And you have a decent support network. You have good friends that are surrounding you. But there was a situation where somebody made a decision about you that was unfair, that really took a lot of that away from you. It took a lot of the self-confidence, a lot of the support network away from you whenever this unfair decision was made about you. So I think somebody is confronting you about this. Maybe they're saying, hey, what happened to all your friends? I thought you had all these friends, you know, or whatever. So anyway, they're confronting you about this, and you're explaining the situation to them. How they see you after the explanation is, first of all, they see you as somebody who is vulnerable, that you let down your boundaries to somebody who sort of came in and just rolled right over you. They also, though, see you as somebody who is very stable, very grounded, that you have plenty of resources on your own with or without a support network. And they see you as now moving away from something that had a negative impact on your life or was dragging you down. So, not bad, not bad. I like it that they're seeing you basically in a positive light after what you've been through. And that's a nice thing to see. Sometimes how people see us is not really congruent with what's going on or how we see ourselves, so it's always nice when it sort of lines up. Okay, next thing that we're looking at now, Aquarius, is the flex period during this time frame. So this is going to be basically a lesson or experience that you deal with, and what happens as you incorporate that lesson or experience into your life. And then after that, we'll look at where you are at the end of this time frame. But lesson or experience. I kind of want to soak in these cards for a minute here. Is this Capricorn? Okay. I mean, not Capricorn. Is this Aquarius? Okay. So, Aquarius, you have a situation with a person in your life who I would say is has strong narcissistic qualities. Okay. If you don't know what a narcissistic person is, you may want to Google that. And I think that you took a lot of responsibility I think that you may have come into some kind of arrangement with this narcissistic person where you were actually responsible to them for something. You were answering to them for something. Okay? Or you were taking care of something for them, and, you know, you had to tell them, you know, how things were going. You picked up some kind of responsibility from this person to the point that you still had to answer to this person. Now, for some of you, this could be that you got into a relationship with a person like this, like a romantic relationship or a romantic partnership, where, you know, now you kind of have to tell them different things. A lot of partnerships, you know, there's a lot of information that has to be shared at that point. And that could be the responsibility that you picked up. For others of you, this could be a business partnership, or this could be, you know, maybe you're an employee of this person. But you're picking up responsibilities to this narcissistic type of person. And then I'm seeing, excuse me, that what happens is I feel like this person has told you, you know what, no, I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to be in this relationship with me, or I don't want you to do this work, or I don't want you to be my employee, or whatever it is. And then they come back later on and they say, you know, I've thought about it again, and I really do want you to come back to work. Only if this is somebody who truly has strong narcissistic characteristics, they didn't say nice. Okay? So if they were an employer who said, you know what, I don't need your services, don't come back, and they probably did it in a pretty mean way, now they could be saying, why aren't you here? And kind of laying it on you as to why you're not there. Like, that's all your fault. If this is in a relationship, this could be like, you know what, I want to break up, I want to take time away, I want to step back. And then next thing you know, you hear from them and they're like, how come you're not right here, right next to me? That type of thing. Okay? So this is the lesson or experience that we see you going through right now, Aquarius. What's going on as you incorporate this lesson or experience into your life? There is a lot of confusion here, and to me, I think that there's some gaslighting going on. The truth is definitely not plainly evident here, that's for sure. And it looks like you're really focused, even though you really can't see the truth, you're operating under this illusion. But as you're operating under this illusion, I think you're really focused on making this partnership work and making it work really, really, really well. And I think that you are, at the same time, I think that you are giving a whole lot to this person. And I think that this person, when even as you're giving them these things that you are giving them, whatever that might be for your case, this person is really moody and unappreciative. This person is not saying thank you. This person, if you're giving them a red apple, they're telling you, oh, well, why didn't you get me a green one? You know, or why are you wearing your hair like that? Or can't you wear a purple shirt? Whatever it is that you're trying to do nicely for this person, whether it's dress up nicely, whether it's actually buy them something, whatever it is, nothing is good enough for them. Nothing is good enough for them. And what they keep putting in your face is, well, if this is the best you can do, then I guess I need to go somewhere else. Or I guess you don't really care about me, or, you know, somebody else will do better. Okay, so this is what we have going on. Like, this is full-blown dealing with a narcissistic type situation, all the way. All the way. The showing up and the leaving and the coming back again, the whole gaslighting, the whole being moody and changing their mind about whatever it is they want from you, all of that full-on narcissistic type stuff. Okay? So that's where we see you on the flex point here. This person has you turning every which way but forward. Now let's see where you are at the end of the week. I was just thinking, are you done with this? Have you gotten sick of this yet? And the answer here is definitely a no. This is continuing on, and you were just getting more and more confused, and this person is getting more and more grumpy. He's changing the goalpost every time. As soon as you think you understand what it takes to make this person happy, then the next thing you know, no, that doesn't make them happy. Now this other thing makes them happy. And so you're continuing on and trying to please this person in spite of all the confusion that they're throwing your way. Now, hopefully, those of you who see this reading ahead of time, when you see all this energy coming in where you're trying to please this person, maybe you'll see that, okay, well, this is, you know, this is kind of going on all week. Maybe I don't want to talk to them for the rest of the week rather than trying to jump through all their hoops. I don't know. I don't know which you'll choose. But this does give you the chance, because you've seen it ahead of time, to head off this experience at the past, because it doesn't look too pleasant to me, to be honest. All right? It's not that your whole week is bad, but that particular incident is kind of yucky. So it would be better to just not interact with that person at all, is what I think. Anyway, let me go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you very much for being here. I am going to go ahead and put the expanded down below, this part where we saw where you were picking up the pieces and you made a big change and you cut off communication with somebody. we're going to really take a look at that much more specifically and get some ideas about what's actually going on there in particular. Okay, so if I don't see you there, that's okay. I'll see you back here in a few minutes, because then I'll come back and we'll look at the next week. See you soon. Okay, Aquarius, we are back, and this time we are looking at December the 6th through the 12th for you. We're going to see what kind of energy shows up for you during that time frame, what's going to be influencing things for you, all of that good stuff. Good stuff. You guys know this is a general reading. I'm not looking at particular topics, so this isn't focused only on love or only on career. Both of those or neither of those could show up. We'll see what happens. You also know, because this is a general reading, this does not apply to every single Aquarius, but most of it should apply to most of you. If you find that it doesn't relate to you at all, then you may want to check your rising sign or your moon sign instead. Those of you who are not Aquarians and are here to find out about the Aquarians in your life, in other words, aka cross watchers, we are glad to have you here, and you are welcome to be here. However, you do need to know that on my channel, energies are not reversible. This is a reading that is for Aquarius and is about Aquarius. It is not for you. It is not about you. Although, like I said, you're welcome to be here and find out about any Aquarius that you may have in your life. All right, Aquarians, we do have your cards down on the table. Let's take a peek first at your environment. Now, environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. It does look like you are going back to an environment that whenever you left it, it may have been making you feel depleted. It looks like that is kind of the only place to go back to, although I feel like there's still a lot of confusion around this environment and around going back to this environment. So that could be a home, that could be a work situation, that could be a temporary residence, but there's a lot of confusion around this, whatever this is that you're going back to, and you'll be able to tell where it fits more easily than I will, because that's going to be different for all of you. All right, let's look at your subconscious leanings this time, Aquarius. What do we have showing up? It looks to me like there's some kind of transformation that you are thinking about making, and this transformation would have to do with your support network, or with the people who are around you and encouragements to you. And it looks to me like this is a transformation that is sort of an ongoing process. You may be in the middle of this, and you may be, you know, wondering, what happened to my old support group? I really can't rely on them anymore. Who's going to be my new support group, new support network? So all of this is in your subconscious leanings. Definitely you made a big transformation, and that transformation has I feel like it has leveled you up in your life, so that now those people who are not keeping up with you as far as that transformation, then they are going to be sort of left behind. And then as you level up, you're going to be coming abreast of new people who are going to be your new support network. I like it, I like it, I like it. I think that's really great, Aquarius. Let's look next, my dears, at learning style and also communication style during this particular time frame. I do feel like you have some kind of distance learning going on. Now, this could be self-directed, or this could be some type of formal classes, either way, but I do feel like you're learning some things basically from the internet or online as we look at this. What else do we have going on? Looks like there's some kind of learning that has been going on that's actually put on suspension during this time frame. So it's sort of it's almost like you're on vacation from learning right now. So if this is formal classes, this may be that, you know, there's some kind of time out from those. Or if this is something that you have been digging into pretty consistently, well, now you may not be digging into that so much. You may be looking at other things Also, as far as learning style right now, I do think that there is something that you are learning about that is traditional, and that goes way, way, way back, maybe even ancient traditions that you're learning about during this time frame. Maybe it's this old ancient Christmas traditions or some other traditions from this time of year, depending on what your religious background is. Okay. La da 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 da. What else are we looking at? We're looking at your communication style is the next thing that we're looking at. I do feel like whenever you're communicating, you are very clear about what you're saying and the ideas that you're putting out there. However, I will tell you, I think that there is some information that you're holding back, that you're kind of keeping to yourself. Whatever it is that you're putting out there, I think you're being very open and honest with that information. However, I don't think you feel like it's appropriate for just everybody to know just everything, and so you're not sharing everything. Okay. Also, as far as communication style, I do think that you are trying to highlight the good things when you're communicating and minimize the things that are not so good. I don't feel like you're necessarily trying to hide anything in this particular situation with whoever this is we're talking about that you're communicating with here. It's just that you want to stay more on a positive track and kind of not bring up old sore wounds. Okay? Now, also, as far as communication, some of you are going to be going to some type of religious ceremony in a mosque or a temple or a church. And part of your communication during this time frame is definitely going to be based around spirit or spiritual. For some of you, you may be giving your parents the gift of going to temple or mosque or church. And that may be a way of communicating to them how much you love them. But there is definitely something coming up here around a formal house of worship as a part of your communication style during this particular time frame. All right. Next, let's look at work. What can we see here? Now, if you guys remember, I am weird about work because I look at it as those things that we do to make a living or to feel productive in our community if we're not actually working for an employer or for ourselves. And then also I look at it as those things that we do to make us happier with who we are personally. Okay? So when I look at work, there's definitely a collaboration that you have going on during this time, and I think that you are really enjoying this collaboration. Excuse me. Excuse me. And I think that this collaboration is actually also, not only are you enjoying the collaboration itself, but I think that this is bringing some relief to you, and I think that relief, it's coming through that relief is, for most of you, going to be financial. You're just going to be happy to have the pay for working together with somebody on whatever this project is that you love. All right, let me wet my whistle a little bit here. Excuse me for that. Okay, what we're looking at next is that part of your personality which is growing or expanding right now. What do we have showing up? There is definitely something going on with communication. There is some communication coming in here, and I think that this communication that's coming in for you, Aquarius, is going to make you flip your lid. This is a volcanic explosion of emotions that once it starts to pour out of you, it may feel like you don't have so much control because the momentum is just so much. It's hard to slow down or stop it. And so this is what I'm seeing coming up here. And I really feel like somebody's just going to say something and you're just going to be like, oh no, you did not. And that's going to be kind of the end of that. I do see that once you actually are able to get all of this emotional expression out, that you are going to have a change of perspective and you're going to look at things a little bit differently. So I feel sorry for that person who is on the receiving end of this, but I will tell you that getting this out of you is for you a healthy thing, and it allows you to be able to process some and shift your energy in another direction once you've got it all off your chest. You may want to check on the person that you talked to like this, though. They may not be feeling like they're in a healthier space after you're done with them. All right, and I think this conversation is what I'm going to look at as the in-depth reading, just to see what this is we're talking about, like what kind of news is it that actually triggers you. We're going to look a little bit more into some of the things you say during this volcanic explosion, and we're going to look at most especially where is your perception changing after this? Because, you know, wouldn't it be nice if we had all this information? Wouldn't it be nice if we could sort of change how this transition comes through, or change how this energy flows through? Wouldn't it be nice to make the changes in perception without actually exploding all over some poor person that happens to say the wrong thing to us? So that's what we're going to look at. I think we've got room for growth there. Let's take a peek at it. All right, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about something that you stand for. So this is something that somebody is going to talk to you about, ask you to explain, maybe even confront you about. You're going to have to explain this or defend this at some point during this time frame. So let's look at that situation. So it looks to me like, you know, you were in a situation where you were feeling emotionally fulfilled. You were feeling pretty happy here, and then something came along and it ended up breaking your heart. And it comes down to, at this point, when you're explaining this situation, basically what you're explaining here is that you have accepted this situation. You have accepted this heartbreak. Okay, so you're not fighting against it. You know, if this heartbreak, which the most common way, if this heartbreak was a boyfriend-girlfriend thing, you know, then if you had not accepted it, this would be you trying to get the person back or trying to get this person's attention again. But this is saying, you know what, I've accepted it. This is a heartbreaking situation, and that's just what it is, and I'm not trying to turn it around. I'm not trying to make it something it's not. I'm just trying to accept it the way it is. So that's what we see coming up there. Now, the next thing that we're looking at talks to me about how this person perceives you after you've talked about the situation and how you've come to this point of acceptance. They're seeing you as somebody who really manifested into your life exactly the opposite of what you wanted to. And that even though you poured out so much energy and effort, that there's just not a restart that's coming around here. This is not going to be, there's not going to be a redo or a retry. And I think that, you know, they're coming to that conclusion because of some of the things that you've said here. And I think in your acceptance of this situation, you know, you've let this person know there's not going to be a retry, and so they're coming to that understanding because of the things that you are actually saying here. I mean, all of that really makes a lot of sense with what I saw as what you were saying or talking about. All right. Let's look. Next at your flex point. Now your flex point is the point where things start to change for you during the month. This is where you have a lesson or experience, and with that lesson or experience, things start to go in a little bit of a different direction. So we're going to look at the lesson or experience. We're also going to look at what happens as you incorporate that lesson or experience into your life, and then after that we'll look at where we see you at the end of the week. So lesson or experience has to do with this idea that there is something that is fishy going on in your environment. You're aware that there's something fishy, but you're having a hard time putting your fingers on what information are you exactly missing here. What is it that you aren't being told? And I think that in spite of knowing that there's something fishy here, I think you're sort of putting, you're putting your neck out on a limb, and you're putting yourself basically into a vulnerable situation because you know something's fishy, but you don't know what. And I think that you're just ignoring that idea that something's fishy, and you're moving forward with whatever you know about this situation as it is, being very generous as you move forward with this situation, even though you know something's off, something's not right. Okay? So I think you're putting yourself in a vulnerable situation to move forward with this, to be generous with this person. Let's see what happens as you do this. Okay, Aquarius. Somebody does show you their true colors. Somebody, oh, this is awful. I think somebody shows you their true colors, so definitely some of your information comes up here. And I think they're not being very appreciative of you at all after they show you their true colors, or maybe this is as they're showing their true colors. They're just not showing any appreciation for the things that you've done for them at all. Okay, and they're also being very moody, which means that, you know, they're changing their definition of happiness. So where you may be trying to make this person happy, that happiness is a moving target. Okay? Whew, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. This reeks. This reeks. Let's see what else is going on at the same time. This person is really focused on money and on news about money. And I think you've actually already picked up on that, Aquarius, and I think that you've noticed that this person is really focused on money. And so whenever you have new money that comes in, I think that you are letting this person know that, because you know that that's part of what keeps their interest. And so you keep, you know, just waving that little money bag in front of them, whether it's little or whether it's big. You know, you're using that to influence them towards you, because you know that they're really focused on money right now. You know that they're really focused on money. And it looks to me like this person is not only really focused on money, but they're really focused on money wherever they can get it. So, you know, if you're the person that is providing the financing that they need, great. If you're not that person, well, they will find somebody else who will. Okay? That's just the way they're operating right now. All right? So, yeah, lesson or experience is you're making yourself vulnerable by just being generous and giving to this person. This person is focused on money. You know they're focused on money. I think that's why you're ignoring any red flags where there's secrets that are not, you know, coming out yet, but you know something's off, something's fishy. They are just paying attention to the money, but they're not just paying attention to your money. They're paying attention to other people's money too. They will follow the money. And I think that you're seeing this here with the truth coming out. They're showing you their true colors. And maybe you don't have the most money of everybody right now. And so they are basically saying to you, well, I don't really like you, or I never liked you, or whatever it is that they're saying. They're being completely disloyal and unappreciative for the things that you've done for them. All right, let's see where you are at the end of the week, because this is definitely not a good setup for a great ending. It looks to me like you're definitely confused about a partnership that you have here. And I think you're confused. You're confused about this tie to money, that this tie of money to partnership, that these two have to go together. I think this is confusing you. I don't think that this is the way you normally operate, Aquarius, and so I think that when somebody else is operating that way around you, I think this confuses you. I think in your world, money is not the most important thing. Money is not the attractive thing. Money is not the thing that draws you in. And so when you're dealing with somebody where money is what draws them in, it's not about looks, it's not about personality, it's not about brains, it's all about the money. I think that's a little bit hard for you to comprehend, and so we have some confusion there, and we see you really struggling with this confusion once you get to the end of the week, Aquarius. I think you've got some red flags that have flown, and you're sweeping them under the rug, and that's why you're confused. Okay? So what I'm going to do next is I am going to take a look at where your personality is growing or expanding. And, you know, so we saw that you were having this explosive show of emotions because of something that somebody is saying, and this allowed you to have a change of perspective. We're going to dig into that a little bit deeper in the expanded, and you can find the expanded in the link below. But for those of you who don't go to the expanded, I'll see you back here in a couple of minutes. After I take a break, we'll go on and we'll look at the next week. See you soon. Welcome back, Aquarius. We're looking at December the 13th through the 19th now. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for the thumbs ups. Thank you for subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you know when I post new videos. And thank you also to those of you who participate in the super chats, and also to those of you who order readings from me, whether they're 1 question, 2 question, or live readings. And thank you to those of you who get Reiki sessions from me or Reiki candles from me. I do appreciate all of your support at every single level. It is that support that allows me to do what I love to do for my living. I like to think that what I offer you guys is worth every single penny that and moment that you support me. That's what I like to think. Alright, we're putting your cards down. Just going to see what comes out of this time frame for influences. This is December 13th through the 19th, if I didn't already say that, Aquarius. Okay, my dears, your cards are on the table. Let's see what's going on for your environment. Now, environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. And what I'm seeing coming on here, there is a disagreement with somebody who you're sharing your environment with. You're having a really hard time being on the same page with this person. And this is somebody that you're usually pretty well in agreement with and you work together with. There's definitely some kind of news about something that you're able to move forward with. You're being given the green light to move forward with this. And I feel like the other person does not necessarily want to move forward just right now. They want to really analyze the situation and think things over and come up with a plan about what's the best way to do this, where I feel like you just want to snap, let's do it now, let's do it now. We've got the opportunity, without really thinking it through as much as they want to. Alright, let's look next at your subconscious leanings during this time frame. You do have a choice to make, and this is one of those choices that no matter what you choose, it's a good thing. So it's a pretty nice type of choice to have, you know. As they say, a good problem to have. I think that the reason you actually have this choice is because you're feeling like you're not abundant enough, you're not being paid well enough where you are or with whatever you're doing right now. And it looks to me like the budget has been a little bit out of control. And so this is what's on your mind at a subconscious level. And so you're looking at, okay, I do have some choices here. There are things I can do about this. And I think on a subconscious level, you're just trying to figure out which is the best choice for you to take here. Alrighty, next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style, Aquarius. So, learning style. I think there is some kind of situation where you're really having to uncover the truth. You're having to do some research. Information is not just coming to you easily and organically. You know, you are really having to do some research and some digging here. And then also, I think a lot of the learning that you're doing, you're really focusing on some things, and you're learning how to think some things through given the information that you already have. So some of the learning that you're doing is really building on information that you already have to sort of figure things out, or to, you know, take the next step with that. So you could be learning, for example, something about technology and and how logarithms work to become more popular on YouTube or something like that. And you're given some information about that. And now what you're doing is you're taking that information and you're putting it logically together with, well, if I do this, then that should result in this, or that would go along with that. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, just taking information that you already have, analyzing it, and really going to the next level with that information. So learning through analyzing. Analyzing and being creative. Now, also, what do we have for learning? There is something that you have been studying or putting together information on for a while. I think that during this time frame you're feeling like, okay, you've completed that. You found out everything that you need to know or want to know, and you're happy with that. You could be receiving some type of certificate for your studies, or it could be that, you know, if this is a self-led study, you could feel like, you know what, I know enough to go out and do what I need to do. The reason that I started studying this, I know how to go out and do that now. Okay, so communication style. What do we have coming up here? Communication style for you during this time frame has a lot, especially with certain people, has a lot to do with body language. You may not be saying anything, you may be letting them pick up information from your body language as far as your communication style with them. There is another group that you're just being very guarded in your communications with them. I think that, you know, you'll answer certain questions for them, but only certain questions, not every question. And then last but not least, what do we have showing up? I think that you're making an attempt to really communicate about the things that make you happy, the things that you're interested in knowing more about. You're doing a lot of communication around those things during this particular time frame. Okay, so that's learning and communication style. The next thing that we're going to look at here talks to me about work. We're going to look at both versions of work, the way that you make a living, and also what you do to improve yourself to make you happier with who you are, particularly. All right, so when we look at work, what do we have? I think that you're hearing from somebody how much they really appreciate the work that you're doing and how much they like the work that you do for them or that you put out to the world. Things are actually going pretty smoothly for you. However, there is a stress factor. Isn't that interesting? I think the stress factor has to do with your reputation right now. Like, you are wondering, you know, things are going so well and people are letting you know how they feel about your work. And I think it has you coming to this point where you are really just trying to live up to everybody's expectations and what everybody is saying about you. Excuse me, I have to pause the video and see what all this noise is going on beside me. I'll be right back. Alright, so let's look at work for inner work here. Inner work, inner work, inner work. This really is all about loving yourself. And it looks to me like things are going pretty good as far as loving yourself. But once again, there's this stress factor, just like with outer work. I think what we're going to do, we're going to take work and we're going to set that aside. That's what the expanded is going to be on this time. I want to take a peek at why do we have things going well at work and yet the stress level is so high. Let's dig deeper into that. I mean, I know we saw a little bit with outer work. I don't know why that would cause stress for inner work, though. Alright, next up, let's look at that part of your personality which is growing or expanding right now. It does look like you're paying a lot of attention to somebody. I think they're actually, this person that you're paying attention to is somebody who they've come to you and they've told you you know, that they have feelings for you, you know, that they really care about you. This could be romantic, doesn't have to be. But this is somebody who's saying that they really care about you, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of what they're saying to you is not true. Not saying that they don't have feelings for you, that they don't care about you, but because I feel like that part is at least as true as what they can have it be. But I do feel like there's a lot of misconception or illusion that they're putting out there to you and to the rest of the world. And so I think you're really watching this person. You may be spying on them, you're digging for information. I think you're just really trying to figure out what to make of this person that says they have feelings for you and yet doesn't really tell you the truth that often. You're trying to figure out what's the real deal, what's up here. The next thing that we're looking at talks to me about those things that you stand for. So this is going to be something that somebody has asked you to explain or maybe even confronted you about. So you've had to explain this or defend this situation. You took some time to be by yourself to sort of set your priorities, to understand a little bit more about what it is that you want. And after doing that, it looks like you were able to forgive somebody or let something go from the past, some kind of hurt or injury. You were just able to just let that go from the past. And you were also able to quit carrying any kind of responsibility that you felt towards whatever caused or whoever caused that hurt or that insecurity or whatever it was. So after spending some time alone and really thinking through things, you were able to find forgiveness, but at the same time, that you're forgiving something, you're not wanting to move forward with that thing, okay? And so after having this conversation with somebody, how they see you as somebody who has basically lost out in this situation, whether you lost out on all the energy you had invested or all the money you have invested in this situation. But they see you as losing out on that and walking away very conscious of the idea of cutting those losses, but as somebody who's walking away very much empowered and very much self-sufficient and in charge of your own life. Okay? That's their perception of you after you talk about this situation. Kind of nice. I like that. And I think that would be accurate too after some time alone to set your own priorities. La da 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 da. La da da da. Alright, next we're going to look at the flex period. So this is where you have the lesson or experience and you incorporate that lesson or experience into your life. Things start to go a slightly different direction because of this. So we're going to take a peek at what that direction might be. So you have a situation with somebody in your life who is really all about those new and exciting things, those things that are just beginning. But once things start to get routine, then they're kind of bored. Their attention wanders elsewhere. And you know that it's just not working with this person. And it looks to me like you've decided that you're giving up your need to control this situation. So it looks to me like from these cards that you were trying to control this situation or control this person or control, you know, what this person is going to focus on or what they're going to be interested in. And that just really, that was not working. And so you've decided that, you know, you're going to give up control. You're going to let whatever comes come and just let it be whatever it's going to be. What else is going on during this time frame? It looks like you are pouring out a lot of energy and effort in trying to get a reaction from somebody, maybe even baiting them to see if they'll come into an argument with you, because I think that you want them to somehow prove to you that they care as much as you care about whatever this may be, okay? And so I think that you're just basically baiting them, just trying to get them to just say it, just once. Just say it once. Say it and mean it. Alright? I'm laughing, but really it's sad when we have to do that with somebody. you know, or when we feel like we have to do that with somebody. And it kind of goes against this whole idea of, you know, I don't have to be in control of this situation. I'm gonna just let it be what it's gonna be, because it looks like you decided that, but you're not really letting it be what it's gonna be. You're kind of trying to prod this person or push this person into saying something that you want to hear. So at the same time that this is going on, I do feel like this other person that you're trying to prod or you're trying to push has some kind of obsession or some kind of addiction that they are dealing with, and that this is making them feel really unenthusiastic about just about anything right now except that. And so I think the more you push and prod at them, the more they're putting up boundaries and just really not responding, and possibly even cutting you out of their life because you're pushing and trying to make things happen when you've already decided that you're letting go of this. You're letting go of this control. Okay. This seems like this is not very fun for you, Aquarius. All right, let's see where you guys are at the end of this week. So here's what's interesting. I think that you're getting some kind of news about money or about material goods. No, I'm going to take that back. It doesn't feel like money or material goods this time. I think you're getting some kind of message at the end of this week where somebody is saying, you know what, I'm not putting any more effort or energy into this situation, whether it's a relationship, a project, whatever it is. You've got somebody telling you, you know what, I'm done. I'm done. I think they're saying you've poked, prodded, pushed as long as you can, and I'm just done. I can't take any more. What's interesting to me about this, though, is even though this person is saying they're done, they're not putting any more energy or effort into the situation, I think this really makes you feel empowered. This sort of kickstarts you into a place where you're using your creativity. I think whatever this is, if this is a project, you know, then I think you're moving forward with it powerfully without that person. If this is a relationship, then, you know, maybe not so much. But I think you're moving forward with your personal life much more powerfully without them than with them. You're feeling actually really good. It looks to me like this is almost a feeling of liberation, like it's been some effort and some energy to try to make this work. And now that you don't have to put out the effort or the energy, that it's officially been called, you know, you're feeling like, okay, you know what? I'm large and in charge of my life right now. I'm self-sufficient. I've got plenty of finances. I know how to make more finances. I'm good there. And I'm feeling very creative. I do the things that I love and that I enjoy. And nobody is interfering with that. Nobody is distracting from that. There's a lot of good that is actually coming out of this message. And I think you're feeling it. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think you're thrilled about knowing this other person doesn't want to invest anymore into whatever this is, but I do think you're feeling good about where this lets you, what this lets you do, what this lets you accomplish without having to keep putting out energy into trying to goad somebody else into, you know, meeting you 50-50. All right, so I think there's mixed feelings about that, but I think the stronger feeling there is of empowerment. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. If I don't see you on the expanded, I'll take a little break. I'll come back and we'll look at your next week. But between now and then, I am going to make an expanded on this work situation. So if you want to see that, there will be a link down below. Either way, thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, Aquarius, we are back, and this time we're looking at December the 20th through the 26th. Merry Christmas, everybody. At least to all of you who celebrate Christmas. Those of you who celebrate your other holidays, then I hope that you have a happy holiday, whatever that might be for you. La da da da. I know there's a lot of holidays that get clustered in around Christmas, but I'm not super familiar with a lot of them. So, still wishing you happy holidays, no matter who you are, no matter which ones you celebrate. La da 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 da. Let's see what kind of energies come up for you during this time frame. This is a general reading. That means that it doesn't apply to every single Aquarius who watches, but most of it should apply to most of you. If you feel like none of it relates to you, then you may want to check your rising sign or your moon sign for this time frame. Those of you who are cross watchers, please keep in mind that this reading is for and about Aquarius. I do not let energies reverse in my readings, so energies are not reversible. This reading is about and for Aquarius. You are welcome to be here. Just know this reading is not about you just because you happen to know an Aquarius and be watching this video. I think that's the craziest thing that some readers even do. Energies may be reversible. Are we kidding? Are we kidding? Okay, let me get off my soapbox and let's just start the reading. Let's start with your environment during this time, Aquarius. Ooh. Aquarius, looks like you may have planned on traveling during this time, but I feel like that travel is going to be canceled. Going to be canceled. However, I do feel like whatever it is that you were planning to go or whatever it is you were planning to do, I don't think that you're going to be sorry that you did not travel. I'm sorry, I'm seeing a part of this card that I have never seen before, and I'm trying to figure out what it means to me while I'm talking to you guys. Because I feel like you're going to manifest something that is fantastic right wherever you are without having to travel. I'm hearing the words that you're cooking up some kind of scheme. Cooking up some kind of scheme to celebrate the holidays in a very good way after all. You guys may be doing something that is more technology oriented for celebrating the holidays. Yeah, I think you're cooking up some kind of technological scheme so that you can celebrate the holidays with a lot of people without being right near a lot of people. Right next to. All right, let's look at your subconscious leanings, Aquarians. What do we have? You're feeling very comfortable in your own skin. Self-confidence is good. Self-confidence is good. Self-esteem is good. There has been something that has happened that has you feeling like you did not complete whatever it was you wanted to complete. You did not reach the goal that you were shooting for. But I don't feel like that has dimmed your self-confidence or your sense of worthiness at all. In fact, I feel like that's just made you focus that much harder on getting this thing the next time around, whatever that is. Whatever that is for you. It's going to be different for different ones of you. La da da da. Learning style and communication style is the next thing that we are looking at. You guys, you just have a much lighter feeling during this week than you usually do, and I like that considering travel was canceled. You're making the best of it. You're taking lemons and making lemonade for sure. Alrighty, what do we have? Wow. Talk about taking lemons and making lemonade. Somebody made some kind of Yeah, somebody made some kind of unfair decision about you that you're learning about, and I think that this is something that could be very emotional. I think the other person made it from a very emotional place, like they couldn't see the facts, all they saw was the emotions. And this has caused a whole lot of gossip, a whole lot of worry, a whole lot of anxiety as you're learning about this decision. The thing is, I don't think that you're worried. I don't think that you're anxious. Even as you're finding out about this decision that was not made in a fair way because your other person was triggered, I don't think you're really worried about it. You're not stressing about it. People around you are, they're gossiping and they're worried about it. You're not. You're not stressing. Okay? Let me look at communication style here too. I think you're being very quiet. I think you're letting people understand things about you based on your actions. I don't think you're doing a lot of talking. You're not doing a lot of things to defend yourself or to make any kind of points or to, to defend yourself or to make any kind of points. You're just letting people see through your actions what you're all about. And you are busy, yeah, you're busy just creating the life that you want right now. And you are definitely busy focusing on peacefulness. So exactly the opposite of chitter chatter and gossip and anxiety, you're focusing on peacefulness. And I think that's coming across in your communications too. I don't think you're even acknowledging the anxiety or the gossip. I think you're just focusing on those things that are peaceful. You know it's not fair. You know it's not fair. And I think that's why you're just not talking about it that much. If you do talk about it, you're just saying the bare minimum, whatever this decision was. I think that decision has really inspired you to create some good things. In spite of the fact that it's not fair. I don't think it was something that assisted you or helped you, but I think it made you say, you know what, if these people or this person is against me, that's okay, I'll do this on my own. And it just really lit a fire under you. Lit a fire in a good way, totally motivated you. All right, let's look next at work. You are picking up some new responsibilities, so if you've been looking for work before this time frame, I would say at the beginning of this week, you're picking up a job. Interesting. Holiday week, usually that type of stuff doesn't happen. It does look like there is a delay in payment whenever you pick up this job. But I do feel like the pay that's coming in from this job helps you to move into a much more positive place. And it actually helps you to pay off some of the things that you've been wanting to pay off, or pay down at least for some of you. But for a lot of you, pay off something. I'm liking that. Let's look at inner work. Inner work is about moving away from something that has held you down or dragged you down or held you back. And also it's about, taking acceptance of that part that you played in the situation. And really turning that around so that I think you're doing what you can to make sure that you don't do those same things again, so that you don't find yourself in that same situation again. You're moving for a reason. You don't want to be back there. All right, so you're doing some inner work for sure. Faux show. All right, Aquarius, what else do we have? This is that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. You're definitely taking a leadership role during this time frame, and you are passing along information to other people. You may be mentoring other people, or you may be commanding other people, but generally this is passing along good information is how I look at this, passing along good information to other people. I do feel like what do I feel on this card actually? I feel like there's somebody who's trying to stir things up with you. This is very similar to what I saw just before in the communication. There's somebody who's trying to stir things up with you. They're trying to get a reaction from you. They're trying to get you to fight with them. I think we saw this last week too. They're really just trying hard to get a reaction out of you. I still get this strong sense, even in this part of the spread, that you're not paying attention to them. Like you're just not even looking their direction as they try to get that reaction from you. You're focused on what you need to do to move forward and what kind of advice or guidance you need to give your people, is how it's coming across to me. So I don't think you're paying this person any attention. To me, this is just a fly buzzing around your head. It can't really do any harm. That's how it comes across as far as how your reaction is to this, and you're just really focused on the here and the now, what you're accomplishing at this moment, and working on that, and working on helping others to stay focused on that as well. So let's look at what it is that you're stand for during this particular time frame. What is it? What is it that you stand for? And how do the other persons view you? Because there's going to be somebody who asks you about this thing that you stand for. They're going to want an explanation, or they may even confront you. You may have to defend yourself for this situation. So we're going to see what is that situation, and we're also going to see how they view you after you've explained the situation to them. Oh my goodness, there is definite relief here. There is definitely relief here because you've been able to break free from something. Or somebody else has broken you free of something. This could be an actual literal breakup, but it could be where you're breaking free from an old way of thinking or an old pattern of thinking. Really allowing you to look at things in a much more rational way and really analyze them instead of being triggered or, instead of being triggered by situations. I'm liking it. That's really awesome. Now, how this other person sees you after you explain why you're much more rational about things, they see you as somebody who's putting up your boundaries. You're putting up your boundaries. You're not letting somebody else encroach on your territory, and you're staying focused on your goals, your targets, and you're moving forward with those so that you can create more opportunity in your life. That's how they're seeing you. Look at you, Aquarius. That's awesome. That is awesome. So far, I haven't found anything I want to do an expanded reading on here. We may not. We may go a week without needing one. How do you like that? Of course, I probably shouldn't say anything ahead of time, should I? Hope I didn't just jinx it. We'll see. We'll see. Let's look at your flex period. This is the point where you go through a lesson or experience, and then we look at what happens as you incorporate that lesson or experience into your life. And things kind of go a little bit of a different direction because of the lesson or experience. So what do we have going on? Things are a little bit hard right now. Things are a little bit hard right now because you're bringing back something from the past. There's something in the past that you had put on a back burner. You probably thought at some point I'll get back to it. Now you're getting back to this. You're focusing more attention, more energy on this thing that you hadn't really been focusing on for a while. And it seems like it's a little bit of a rough start. It's kind of a hiccupy start as you're doing this. And I feel like it's not feeling very fulfilling or very satisfying, to tell you the truth. What's going on as you're doing this? Oh yeah. This is definitely a rough start. You're taking a break from something here. Okay? You're taking a break from something. You want to sort of regroup, bring your energy back, revitalize yourself, and then you're continuing on. After your break, I feel like you're continuing on with this thing. So just bam, 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 bam. We have cycles that are happening so fast that, you know, if your neighbors can keep up with what's going on with you, kudos to them. All right? If you even talk to your neighbors. So, yeah, taking a break, deciding to move forward with whatever this is you're taking a break from. And there are secrets here. I think you're keeping secrets as you move forward. And I think that the secret that you're keeping may be that I don't think this is going to last very long. That may be your secret here. We might look at what that secret is here in a minute. We'll see. Maybe that'll be our advanced. What else is going on? Yeah, look at that. This is like the swinging door of bringing something back from the past. So you're feeling very excited about something, but the collaboration just isn't there. Whoever's supposed to be collaborating with you is just not meeting you 50-50 at all. And they're kind of leaving you picking up the pieces here. So to me, this is more talk about these cycles of, you know, okay, so I'm bringing you back from the past. We're working on you. Man, I'm taking a break. No, I want to keep working on this. But there's a secret. I'm not going to tell the secret. Being very excited, but no, I'm not going to really put in energy or effort. And, you know, now I'm going to, you know, this is the other person saying they're not going to put in energy or effort. And so now you're left holding the bag. That's ridiculous. Why are you doing this to yourself? If you already know, if your secret is that you already know this isn't going to work, why are you doing this? We're going to definitely look at your secret, by the way, in the expanded. What is your secret here? But first, let's look at the end of the week. For those of you who aren't going to hit the expanded, let's look at the end of the week right now. End of the week is that you have spent some time, you know, by yourself, really setting your priorities, figuring out what it is that you want from life. And you're deciding that you don't want to keep communicating with this person and that you're not giving to them anymore. Where you were generous to them with your energy or with your money or with whatever, you're just pretty much done with trying to be generous or hospitable to this person. My question is that the end of the cycle, or are we going to be circling through this cycle a few more times as the month goes by? Whew. I do want to still look at your secret. I want to see if that secret really is. I don't know how well this is going to work out, or if that's a completely different secret that we have coming up there. So just for my own personal curiosity, because inquiring minds want to know, I am going to take a peek at that secret. If you guys are interested in looking at what that secret is, you can certainly check it out in the expanded. I do have my expanded priced incredibly affordably. Unbelievably so. So, yeah. If I don't see you for the expanded, then I'll see you back here in a couple of minutes. And I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you. Hi there, Aquarius. We are back. And this time we're looking at December the 27th through January the 2nd. Seeing what kind of energies come up as influencers during this time frame. If this reading does not relate to you, or you don't feel like it does, then check out your moon sign or your rising sign, and remember to check back after a little time has passed and see if more of it turned out to be accurate than what you expected. Sometimes that does happen. I've been reading for the public for, well, since 2013, full-time, and before that part-time. So I've seen that happen a few times. Just a few. I'm not sarcastic or anything. Anyway, this is a general reading, so not everything will apply to all Aquariuses that I say here today, but most of it will apply to most of you. If you don't feel like it resonates, please do check out your sun sign, or excuse me, your rising sign or your moon sign. Those of you who are cross-watchers, you are welcome to be here. Just keep in mind on my channel, energies do not reverse, so what you are seeing is actually a reading that is about Aquarius and for Aquarius. It is not about you and for you because you happen to know an Aquarius and you happen to be watching this reading. No, it is about Aquarius and for Aquarius. You're welcome to be here if you want to find out something about an Aquarius. Okay. Let's get started, shall we, Aquarius? First thing that we're looking at is your environment. Remember, your environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. Usually it's home, but not always. What do we see? There's some kind of change that could be made in your environment that definitely would improve things, but it is not being made. You are not making it, is what I'm hearing at this particular time. And I feel like part of the reason that you're not making it is because you're not acknowledging the truth about how that change would actually loosen things up for you, either financially or emotionally. For some of you, actually even both. All right. Let's look at your subconscious leanings next, Aquarius. Subconscious leanings, what I have here. You are worried about not having enough money, and you're feeling like you're there right now, and what you're really liking the idea of is that you want to be putting money back to save, either for retirement or for some type of big goal that you want to be working towards in the future. Okay. Next thing that we are looking at, Aquarius. Next thing that we're looking at here talks to me about your learning style and also your communication style. You are picking up a lot of information just by being around, hearing things that are said, watching things that are happening, being the witness to things going on. You are learning a lot just by being where you are and who you are and being attentive. I do feel like there is some meditation going on too, and I feel like you are learning new information as you meditate as well, and actually quite a bit of it, to tell you the truth. La da 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 da. Yeah. And Aquarius, I am going to say that you're getting information in from the divine, or sacred spirit, as I like to call the divine, and I feel like the divine is giving you a choice. The divine is giving you a choice. They're letting you know about a choice that you have in front of you that you need to make. Interesting. Interesting. Should that be our expanded reading? That's fascinating. Let's see. Communication style. I do feel like your communication style during this time frame may have a lot to do with you expressing emotions, and probably not in such a happy way. Okay? Probably in a restless, aggravated, agitated, upset way, to tell you the truth. What else do we have here? I feel like you could be... I feel like the more you communicate, especially about one particular topic, the more you communicate, the more worked up you get about this topic, and that just communicating about this topic makes it gain momentum for you. And I feel like you're almost... This is going to happen with different degrees to everybody, but the degree that I'm picking up on, I feel like some of you are getting worked up into a frenzy just talking about a particular situation right now. And it makes you want to go and do something about it, because the more you talk about it, the more excited you get about it, the more irritated, the more you want to make a change. Okay? What else do we have? I do feel like you're making some kind of alliance with somebody whenever we've got communication coming up. Some kind of alliance with somebody to get the word out about something. There's a lot of interesting stuff there, but I think I'm going to hold off and wait and see if we get things that are more interesting popping up. I kind of have a feeling we will. I could be wrong before, but I think there will be more. Okay, so when it comes to work, definitely there have been some disappointments when it comes to work, but I'm hearing some of you say, yes, the disappointment is that I have to go to work. There definitely have been some disappointments whenever it comes to work, but I see you really focusing on the opportunities there instead of on the disappointments. I think that you're being intuitively guided to be in the right place at the right time to be able to reach the goals and targets that you have for work. And I feel like you're doing exactly the things that you need to do to reach your own financial goals and targets, especially as it comes to work. Excuse me. All right, let's look at inner work. That's interesting. I think there is a point. There is a touchy point or a sensitive point in your life where you feel like your emotions are just raw there, or you have blockages that keep you from meeting goals in that area. And it looks to me like your inner work is to really get some wisdom about how to make that situation better, so it's not so sensitive, so it's not so raw. And so it feels like you have an abundance there. Okay. Let's look next at that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. There is somebody or something from your past that you are thinking back about, but and I think you've got fond memories of this person or this situation from your past, but I don't think that you're very hopeful about going back to that right now, because it looks to me like you've got a lot of other things to focus on. It looks to me like your energy is really scattered. You're focusing on a lot of different things. I don't think you feel like you necessarily have the time or the energy left over to focus on that thing from the past that makes you feel good when you think about it. All right, so next thing that we're looking at talks to me about that thing that you stand for. This could be This is something that somebody wants to talk to you about for sure. They could just want an explanation, but they could also be confronting you, or it could be anywhere in between. Let's see what the situation is, and let's see how this person feels about you after you have a conversation about it. It looks like you let your guard down and made yourself vulnerable because you were hoping for a situation that was going to go two ways, that was going to be equilateral, and what you got instead was a situation with somebody who does not seem to know how to do an equilateral situation. So you let your guard down and let this person in with high hopes, and you're not receiving whatever it was that you're hoping for here. So this is a situation that you're having to explain or defend during this time frame. How this other person sees you is they feel like you were almost forced into this decision, like, I don't want to say forced, but like your back was kind of against a wall whenever you made this decision, like you might not have made it had you felt like you had more options at the time. And they see you as somebody who, you know, by making this decision, they feel like you went backwards. You went back to something that had been holding you back or dragging you down. And they feel like whatever this is that you went back to, whether it's a situation or a person, they feel like it's immature, it's not fully developed, and so they feel like it's not something that's very stable for you to go back to. Okay? Alright, so we're going to wrap that up. Next, what we're looking at, Aquarius, is your flex point during this time frame. So the flex point is where you encounter the lesson or the experience, which sort of changes the direction of where you're going here, or what's happening to you, because it changes your perspective a little bit generally. Let's look at what we have. You have a situation where you're definitely not on the same page with somebody that you would consider to be a partner, and in spite of not being on the same page with them, you are really trying to put in a lot of work to have a happy home life, no matter what. Like, no matter what they're doing, you're still focused on, you know what, I'm having a happy home life, you do whatever you want to do. Now, they may or may not live in the home that you live in, but either way, this is basically you saying, you know what, do whatever you want to do, but I'm not going to let you influence my happiness. I'm not going to let you influence my peace in my own personal castle. All right? Now, at the same time, it looks like you're getting over some kind of heartache or heartbreak from somebody who was angry about you, and you were really stressed out about this for a while. You're getting beyond that heartache or heartbreak there. It looks to me like you're rebuilding your life. You're also rebuilding your self-esteem. You're getting more comfortable with who you are in your own skin. And I think that you're moving on from a situation that just really hasn't worked out. And I think that, you know, getting more comfortable in your own skin, you know, we saw earlier, like in a previous week, that you're very comfortable in your own skin. Now you've been kind of worn down a little bit. Somebody's been saying some things to you that's made you question your own worth. And so now you're rebuilding that. You're getting that back together. Happy to see that you're getting it back together. All right. So, where do we see you at the end of the week? At the end of the week, Aquarius. You have definitely cut somebody out, period, point blank, end of story. But you're missing them. You are missing them. And you are making some plans. And I don't know what to think about this idea that you're making plans. Are you making plans about how you're going to keep this person cut out of your life, how you're going to move forward independently? Or are you making plans because you're missing them about getting back together with them? All right? So, this is going to be the expanded. I thought maybe we would get away with a week without doing the expanded. But this is going to be the expanded. We're going to look which direction these plans are actually going. And maybe it's different for different ones of you. Could be. But we're going to find that out as we look at this. Okay? But thank you very much. That is your month. For those of you that I don't see on the expanded, thank you very much for being here for the monthly. I really appreciate all of you who actually watch, all of you who put thumbs ups, all of you who share, all of you who do super chat when you catch me live. All of you who buy private readings and private Reiki sessions. It is because of all of you guys' support at every single level that I get to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much. Everybody have a fantastic, wonderful, thrilling, peaceful month, hopefully. And I will see you, if not at a private reading or Reiki session, on the next video. Peace out.